The National Freedom Party is calling on President Cyril Ramaphosa to abandon the State of the Nation address and resign from office immediately. The NFP says Ramaphosa undermined the constitution through the Phala Phala saga. They say this this may come as a shock to the ANC. You will remember that it gave the NFP's founding leader, Zanele Gamagwaza Msibi, a seat in the Zuma administration as Deputy Minister of Science and Technology. Well, there's another grouping to this, or should I say another organization, COSATU, that's the alliance partner of the ANC. It says it has high expectations of President Cyril Ramaphosa's speech on Thursday. Well, let's speak to the leaders of these two organizations now, and Canon Mdletshe is the Secretary General of the National Freedom Party, and COSATU's General Secretary is Solly Phethwe. Both of you gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. Can I begin with you, Mr. Mdletshe, and ask you whether you are officially aligning your message about the President not being allowed to address the State of the Nation address with the calls that have already been made by the EFF, and why have you taken this stance?
Thank you, Xoli, and good morning to Solly and the viewers at home. Ours is straightforward, Xoli. We don't trust President Cyril Ramaphosa anymore. For the number of years, he has been making promises after promises, but nothing has materialized. Therefore, we don't trust him anymore. In actual fact, President Ramaphosa should not be the president of the country right now. He should have resigned a long time ago. The issue of Phala Phala was just an icing on the cake. He should have resigned at that time, but he did not, because the ANC have got numbers in parliament. But the reality is the people of this country are frustrated. The people of this country do not trust government anymore. And the head of government and the state president is Mr. Ramaphosa. Therefore, we are saying President Ramaphosa should have vacated his office. But we are glad that we've got this opportunity on Thursday where our members are going to make it clear that President Ramaphosa is no longer wanted by the people of this country. And we're hoping that by this time, the acting public protector will have released the report, which we believe that is going to be in sync with what the independent panel found.
Yeah. All right. Quickly, if I could follow up before I bring Mr. Phethwe into the conversation. Someone listening and having heard the background to the introduction I made, that the NFP, during the Zuma administration, the understanding is that, of course, this would have been okayed by the ANC, which deployed President Zuma to government. Remember that your founding leader, Zanele Gamagwaza Msibi, sat in that administration as Deputy Minister of Science and Technology. Would you have made a similar call if a leader of the NFP was part of the Ramaphosa administration?
Definitely, Toli. You'll remember that the NFP is a political party on its own. We are not umakhwapheni ANC. We are not another faction of the ANC. No, we are a political party on our own, with our own policies, and we are going to make the same call, even if our leader was still in government. In actual fact, you'll recall that last week we held a media briefing here in Durban where we announced that we're going to work with the ANC and the EFF in municipalities in KwaZulu-Natal. But that doesn't mean that we are going to be political stooges of the ANC. We are not going to be the pushovers. We are not going to be the section of the ANC that we are going to be a yes ma'am, yes boss to anything that the ANC says or does. We are going to hold them accountable, despite the fact that we are going to work with the municipalities in the province, but still we are going to make sure that the ANC accounts to the people of this country. Therefore, we are saying President Ramaphosa, being the president of the ANC, does not really mean that we have to sing praises for him when he's not doing well. Like in this instance, President Ramaphosa has dismally failed to lead the country. We are saying, therefore, whether our leader was going still a member of cabinet or not, we are going to make the same call because we are not happy. We are part of the society that is not happy, and the people of this country have on numerous occasions expressed their views about President Ramaphosa.
Yeah. Mr. Petwe, let's bring you into the conversation. We'll talk in a moment about what you have dubbed in your statement as high expectations of this State of the Nation address. But let's quickly respond to what the NFP leader has just said, that President Ramaphosa should not address this SONA. If anything, he must resign with immediate effect.
Well, thank you very much, Comrade Toli and Comrade General Secretary of the NFP. Look, from our side as COSATU, we have no position that says President Cyril Ramaphosa should not address the State of the Nation. What we have said in our statement is very clear in terms of what we expected, what we're expecting from the SONA. One, we're expecting the President to respond to the challenges. How are they going to address the 43% of the unemployment rate? And we've been raising this matter even from the policy conference of the ANC. We've raised this matter in the conference of the ANC. We're just from the NEC Lokota, we're part of that. But we also say the President must also account to what he said he was going to do in the previous SONA to the people. We think that he must be given that chance to respond on a number of issues that he has promised. And obviously, those who are not happy, they know what is the procedure. I've listened to the General Secretary about the Phala Phala. What we know was that where from the Phala Phala thing, it was that the matter must be investigated thoroughly. That's why the public protector was given the responsibility to investigate that. Up to that, I think the President has made public announcement that he will comply and he will cooperate with the investigating, the formal investigation that's going to take. We expect the President, on behalf of the government of South Africa, to build a strong relationship with the public servants, to announce in terms of what is that they're going to do to address the demoralize the public servant, because without the public servant, there will be no service delivery. So if workers in the public servants in the municipality that are collapsing, I think we've been talking about this collapsed municipality, we would want the President on Thursday to develop, to put up an action that is going to be implemented in dealing with those challenges that we're facing. As I said, the collapsed municipality, almost about 90 to 95% of our municipality in South Africa have collapsed. Yeah. And that we need an action that must be taken. The issue around corruption, we think that President Cyril Ramaphosa must strengthen his powers in terms of dealing with the issue, people who are corrupted. The Zondo Commission must not allow people to take Zondo Commission for review. They must just face the music, be charged. NPA must be strengthened, and NPA must be given a capacity to charge and take up the prosecution in relation to those who are implicated on Zondo Commission, other criminal elements that has happened in our government. Because at this government of South Africa, under the leadership of the African nation, it has been gone where it is because of corruption. Yeah. And that's why we are saying we need Cyril to talk about that, including the issue of what is that they are going to do in terms of what we have called at the NEC Lokota to call the disaster of the ESCOM. What is that they are going to do to reduce the load shedding that we are facing, which is also part of the contributors to the unemployment rate that we're facing today.
Mr. Petwe, I want to quickly stay with you just for a small amount of time. Mr. Mdletshe, I'm coming to you in a moment. I want to quickly latch on to the unemployment element that you touched on. You heard Mr. Mdletshe saying that Phala Phala was simply an icing on the cake of what he describes as failures of this administration led by President Ramaphosa, which is why they are calling for him to step aside. So it's not necessarily about Phala Phala per se. Do you agree that President Ramaphosa has not fulfilled many of the promises he has made, and that's why the NFP is of the view that he should be shown the door?
Like I said, we do not have any position that says Cyril Ramaphosa must step down. Yet there are issues that we have gained from the government led by the African National Congress workers. There are issues that are still a challenge, and we think that engagement and continued to put pressure to them, we will be able to find a way. Failure to that, obviously, workers will take a decision. But for now, there is no decision from the workers or from the Congress South African Trade Union that says Cyril Ramaphosa must step down.
Mr. Mdletshe, let's come back to you. You have clearly said that Phala Phala is not the sole reason for why you are calling for this action on Thursday. If the president, as is anticipated, stands up and delivers the State of the Nation address, are you going to be among those in Parliament? You are a party represented in that House. Are you going to be among those that will be muscled out of the chamber if it comes to that?
Thank you, Xoli. I don't think we will be muscled out, but you are going to make sure that you disrupt the president. He must not have it easy on Thursday. It must not be like he's in a honeymoon. It must be disrupted. We are therefore calling on all other MPs, including those from the ANC, to do the same thing, because if they are there representing the people of this country, they must stand with the people of this country. And the people of this country are fed up with the president right now. And we are hoping that within the ANC, we'll find some comrades there who will honestly be representing the people from their constituencies and be part of us when we try by all means to disrupt the president. All I can assure you all is that the president is not going to have it easy on Thursday. We are going to make sure that each and every moment that is avail itself, he must be disrupted. And I'm glad that Solly Petro is also agreeing with us that there is too much that is not going right in this country. Part of what he mentioned, or part of what he failed to mention, was the fact that even if you go around in our country, you see the infrastructure has been destroyed. In fact, if you look at public healthcare system, it has collapsed. Everything in this country is not going well because President Ramaphosa is failing in his duties. As a commander-in-chief, as the one who should be leading in all fronts, he is failing even to take his ministers to account. We've got ministers that we are not even sure whether they are still there because they have not been seen in public. And yet we've got the president who should be marshalling those ministers. That's why we are saying the time for President Ramaphosa to have a free ride in South Africa is over. The time for President Ramaphosa to walk freely and hope that people are going to praise him is over. He can do anything else but not continue leading South Africa because he's taking us into, he's leading us into this race. He's leading us into a devil's kingdom. We are saying President Ramaphosa must not have it easy on Thursday, not only on Thursday, but each and every time President Ramaphosa addresses the public, we must make sure that we gather as the people of this country and disrupt his speeches so that he will feel the pressure, so that the ANC will feel the pressure and recall him.
Mr. Mdletshe, let me quickly come to you or come back to you. We have a very short time for this discussion. How do you respond to someone who says the NFP is now engaging or wants to engage in political theatrics? Should you not be pressuring the public protector, for example, which has been investigating this matter for a very long time, to say, bring out the report so that on the strength of that report, then you say to the president, based on this, you have to go?
No, that's what we said in our statement.
Once again, the NFP has a right to engage anyone in relation to what they think it will be able to assist to deal with what we call the challenges facing South Africa. Remember, President Cyril Ramaphosa has got ministers, and if you listen to our response during the January 8, we have said that those ministers who have not been able to perform, we are calling for President Cyril Ramaphosa to deal with those ministers.
All right, Mr. Petro, let me do this. I'm sorry to interrupt you, sir. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I need to rush this conversation. I need to rush the conversation. On the question of ministers, on the question of ministers, Mr. Petro, I'm really sorry to do this because we have to go to another live event. But on the question of ministers, you have said just moments ago that those who were found wanting by the Zondo Commission they should not take the report on review. You have a chairperson of the ANC who doubles up as Minister of Minerals and Energy. Are you saying that Gwede Mantashe, given what the State Capture Commission of Inquiry has said, he has no right to review this report, and therefore, if anything, he must actually step aside because he was found on the wrong side by the Commission?
As I said, those ministers who are implicated must just respond and account and take responsibility what the Zondo Commission is saying. Taking up the matter for review, it will not be able to resolve the problem. The issue of corruption, the issue is that the Zondo Commission has released a report. Those who are implicated, and the step aside of the ANC should not be focused into certain individuals and leave the others.
All right.
But
Mr.
also what I wanted to say to you, Kole, is that the issue of disrupting the SONA is not going to resolve the problem. It's not going to resolve the problem. Yes, there are problems that we're facing, all of us as workers, but that's why we're saying there are things that we've gained from the government led by the African National Cooperative, things that we are not happy. That's why we continue raising them. There will be a time where workers will take a decision in terms of the current government undermining the workers and the working class of this country, in particular the society of this country.
Canon Mdletshe, very briefly on that question that was taken by Mr. Petwe. Please, could you respond, please? Shouldn't you be waiting for the Public Protector's report?
We shouldn't. We remember that in our statement you did indicate that we want the Public Protector to release the report before Thursday, and we are hoping that she's going to do that. But failing to do that, we have to act. We have to do something. We cannot wait for the Public Protector to take 3 years and we say, no, we will keep on begging her, because it is clear from our side that the Public Protector is taking things slowly in releasing the report for whatever reasons. But we are saying, we are hoping that she's going to release it before Thursday. If she does not release it before Thursday, then we have to do something else to put pressure on government, to put pressure on the president to vacate his office.
All right. Canon Mdletshe, the Secretary General of the NFP, thank you very much for your time. General Secretary of COSATU, Soli Petwe, my thanks to you as well.